All right, today we're jumping into a topic that I'm going to guess you've probably never seen mashed together before. The mathematics of virtue. Yeah, you heard that right. We're going to explore a pretty wild attempt to put a number on things we usually think are unquantifiable. So let's just kick things off with a big question. Can you actually represent a quality like courage with a number? I mean, could you plot loyalty on a graph? It sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? Well, it turns out the source for this whole idea isn't some high-minded philosophy department or a Silicon Valley startup. Nope, it's from a sixth-grade math lesson. And today, we're going to break it down. So the source material we're digging into is this really unique lesson plan. It uses stories from the Bible to teach some core math concepts. It's this fascinating collision of theology and algebra, and honestly, it's a super interesting way to look at teaching. So, what's the point of all this? Well, the lesson's main goal is to teach a really fundamental concept in algebra, independent and dependent quantities. But instead of using the classic examples, like time and distance, it uses virtues as the variables, and it uses biblical figures as the case studies to make it all stick. Okay, so to really get how this all clicks together, we first need to get a handle on the main math concept this whole lesson is built on, and that's variables. Let's start with the official kind of textbook definition. You've got an independent quantity, that's the thing you change or control, and then you have a dependent quantity, that's the outcome you see because of that change. It's your classic cause and effect setup. Now, here's where the lesson gets really clever. It translates that math speak into something, well, a lot more human. The independent quantity becomes the choice, or the action taken. And the dependent quantity becomes the outcome, or the result observed. So the big takeaway is, your choices are the cause, and your results are the effect. So with that framework in place, the lesson then applies this whole idea to 3 biblical case studies. It literally tries to plot things like faith, loyalty, and courage on a graph, just like you would with any other set of data. First up, we've got the Apostle Paul. His story is used to show the concept of consistent, steady growth, what mathematicians call a linear relationship. The whole idea here is that a steady, repeated action can produce a predictable, steady outcome. So the lesson turns Paul's actions into data points. His missionary journeys, that's the independent variable, the cause. The number of churches he established, that's the dependent variable, the effect. And you can see a really clear pattern, right? For every one journey, he establishes 3 churches. It's a consistent, predictable result. And boom! When you visualize it, you can see that perfect straight line of growth. This chart just makes the lesson's point crystal clear. Consistent effort leads to predictable, growing results. Okay, next up, the lesson uses the story of Ruth to show a totally different math concept, a constant. This is all about a value that just doesn't change no matter what's going on around it. So in this table, the circumstances, the independent variable, are changing like crazy. You've got famine, hardship, prosperity, but the lesson quantifies Ruth's loyalty as a perfect 10 that never, ever wavers. It's shown as this unwavering constant, no matter the outside pressure. And the graph here is so striking because of how flat it is. Unlike Paul's graph, which was all about growth, Ruth's chart shows pure stability. Her loyalty is literally a mathematical constant, a fixed point in a very chaotic world. And for our final case study, we get something even more complex. Queen Esther. Her story is used to illustrate a nonlinear, accelerating kind of growth. This is where one action builds on another, creating momentum. So, the lesson breaks her plan down into these 3 key steps. And these steps are our independent variable. You can see how each one requires a bigger and bigger level of risk, and therefore more courage than the last. And here's how they put a number on it. See how her courage level doesn't just increase steadily? It accelerates. It jumps from 5 to 8 and then to 10. The lesson's point is that each act of courage made the next one not just possible, but maybe even a little easier, creating this powerful momentum. And you can really see that acceleration on the chart. It's not that straight line we saw with Paul's graph. It's a curve that's getting steeper and steeper. The lesson uses this to show that courage can be like a muscle. It grows stronger and faster every time you use it. So, okay, after walking through these 3 pretty different mathematical models for virtue, what's the ultimate point? What are the students supposed to take away from all this? Well, the big idea, as the lesson plan itself calls it, is that our choices and our character, our virtues, they create patterns in our lives. And those patterns, whether they're linear or constant or accelerating, can actually be understood and even visualized using the tools of math. And to really anchor this whole concept, the lesson wraps up with a final thought from the source material, linking that mathematical idea of courage directly back to its theological roots. It's basically a call to action based on the patterns we just looked at. And that kind of brings us to the homework assignment and really our final question for you. If you were to plot your own choices every day as the cause, as the independent variable, what would the graph of the outcomes look like? Would it show steady growth, unwavering consistency, or that accelerating momentum? It's a fascinating way to think about the math of our own lives.